Hey, I'm Steven from the Greenhart Company. Here to talk to you a little bit today about insulating your attic and air sealing. So it can get really hot up in that attic during those summer days, and a lot of that heat wants to get down inside the house, making it uncomfortable for the people that are living in there. So we're going to fix that. We're going to take all that old dusty insulation out and dispose of it, go back in, seal that attic plane, or the ceiling of the house. Then we're going to go back in and put brand new fresh insulation in there. What that's really going to do is make it nice and cool and comfortable inside the house when the air conditioner is running. Keep that cold in, keep the heat out, make it much more comfortable for the homeowners. First, let's take a look at removing the insulation from the attic. So this is actually an insulation vacuum. So all these hoses are going to be pulling the insulation out of the house, bringing it through this fan, and then collecting it in these bags. And we'll just recycle and dispose of these bags. Let's head up in the attic and actually take a look at Rodney pulling some of that insulation out.
Alright, what we have here is we're removing all this old insulation. As you can see, it's very dirty and really not doing much, just sitting up here. A lot of areas that have either air voids or no insulation at all. So what we're doing right now is we're removing everything so we can get back down here to the structural members of the house. And you can see here between the drywall and some framing that we have massive air gaps. So once we are able to get all this out, we'll be able to assess everything and go through and use different types of foams to seal all these air voids. And then once we have all the air voids sealed, we'll come back and reinstall the insulation properly to levels of R38 or greater. So it's probably the toughest type of work that we do, but is also the most vital if we want to get a fresh start and give these people the comfort and energy efficiency that they deserve. Alright, now that we have all the attic insulation removed and we have the top of the ceiling exposed here, couple different things we're looking to seal. Over time, people like to put retrofit can lights, different lighting fixtures inside their ceilings, and they come and make these additions to the attic area, and they often don't take into consideration we now have air gaps that can leak out of the attic into the home. So we use these different types of foams we have to go through and seal these areas once we have the attic all clean. So here's a little example. It's real quick and easy. Just to foam everything, and this stuff hardens over time and makes it so no air can actually get through that area. Another area that we're looking for is the existing top plate of the home. Obviously between the sheetrock and the top plate, we can't get that airtight, so what we do is we also use the foam to go through those areas and seal that top plate throughout the whole structure. So really makes a big difference from an indoor air quality standpoint and also an energy efficient standpoint, just because now we don't have so much hot attracting the cold and the cold attracting the hot in the winter and the summer months. Also, plumbing is always pretty big culprit for air loss. As you can see here, a large gap. Looks like they drilled a 2-inch hole for a 1.5-inch pipe, and then we're stuck with that hole. So what we do is just come through and completely foam all that in as well. So now we have an airtight seal. And then once this is all done, brand new fresh insulation on top. The cool thing about sucking out all the insulation is we often get a lot of construction debris that's been up here for decades. Little bits of insects, rodents, things like that all go through the tube and we dispose of them. So start with basically a nice clean sealing, go through and seal it with our different types of foams we have, and then put that insulation back in, and really makes a big difference in a home like this. Alright, as you can see, we're back on site here at a Greenhart residence. Here is our insulation scale. You can see we have it close to R44. From having no insulation and getting a full seal, and now seeing these levels, it's pretty dramatic difference. As you can see, all the insulation is now properly installed to around that R38 to R44 level throughout the whole attic. Okay, now that we've removed all the existing attic insulation and sealed the attic plane and put back new R38 to R44 insulation in the ceiling. The last part of this project was addressing the existing ductwork, which is located under the home. So what we have here is a duct blaster. So we've closed off all the registers, taped them up, and we're pressurizing the duct system. Using a manometer, what we can do is tell the leakage that is now in the duct system. So we do this in the beginning to see what the existing conditions are, and then we come back at this point and see what the improved conditions are. In a project like this, we started around 25% duct leakage and get it down to somewhere between 6 and 8% leakage after we go through and seal and address the whole system. So these are just another set of tools we have to see exactly what we are starting with and how much we can make improvements. Alright, now that all the work's complete, we bring back out our testing tools one more time. Just like we did with the duct blaster, we use the blower door to see the improved building leakage. What we found on this particular job is we've reduced the building leakage by somewhere between 30 and 40%. So that means all those areas that when we took the insulation out and then foamed over, those areas are now sealed, and that's how we're getting such a great building leakage reduction. So these tools are used not only to help figure out where the problems are on the job, but then after the work's complete, they also help to see what the actual data is for the improvements in regards to savings. Alright, so this here is a Minneapolis blower door. It's used in the home performance industry to pressurize or depressurize a home. So we use a baseline setting here to figure out how much air we're either going to push into the home or remove from the home. And then with this manometer here, we'll be able to calculate out exactly what's going on in regards to pressures moving through the house, and then ultimately telling us how much the building's leaking as a percentage.